my presentation will be a little bit more on the physical based thing, on the accessibility, more in a general way, and not specific on exhibitions, but the surroundings and things like that. First of all, I am not an expert in accessibility. I just want to share with you my experiences, because a couple of years ago we made our public spaces, our museum, we made a new museum, KBR Museum, and our exhibition spaces and our entrance more accessible. And we've learned a lot already. So these are some things I would like to share with you. One of the first things that stuck to me when we had some workshops and other things with our staff on creating and designing new exhibition spaces and museums and so on was this sentence, that accessibility is crucial for 10% of the population, necessary for 40% of the population, and comfortable for 100% of the population. And I guess that takes a bit, that goes on with what Marlene already told a little bit about inclusion and accessibility and how it's important for everyone, in fact. So yeah, if you do something with design, and I will talk a little bit about universal design at the end of my presentation, we don't take people as average. We have to think about people as how they are and how they come, and with their disabilities or not. So that's something that stuck in my mind. If you do the exercise on accessibility in your institution, the accessibility chain can be a nice tool to work with, because it takes the whole process to think about. So it's your visitor who is coming to your space, your place, your institution, and it starts with the decision to visit, and maybe to make that decision again to visit again. So that's something nice to have in mind. And also it's a very nice exercise to do this accessibility chain with one of your visitors, with or without problems, if I may call it like that, or with so you do the visit in another way, and you see things in another way. So it's a very nice thing to to have them on board, and to see how they experience the visit. I will go through the different chains of the accessibility chain with the decision to visit. Here you see a picture of KBR. That's our building. As you can see, it's not made in the 21st century, and it's the building and its architecture is not very open and a friendly building, maybe I can say. And we are also situated in the middle of the city center, which is between the upper part of the city and the lower part of the city. And so we are surrounded by stairs, which is not very practical for people in a wheelchair, for example. And the decision to visit, people go and have a look through your website, for example, and it's communication is key. Also, if you have spaces in your building that are not accessible for people who are in a wheelchair, or who are difficult with walking and taking stairs, for example. So you can put it on your website if it's not accessible. What we have done, we have our page, Plan Your Visits, on our website, and on that page you can also find extra information for example, people in a wheelchair, because we are surrounded by stairs, but it is possible to enter our entrance without taking any stairs. So that's why we put it also on our website. So communication is already one thing. Also, if your staff members know how what they can say when people enter and how to help them, that's a big that's already a big change for people who are coming and visiting you. The journey and arrival, nothing so frustrating for people who are visiting you and they have to take a separate entrance. They come with friends, they come with family, and if they have to take another entrance, they again are pointed out as, hey, you are different, so you have to take another entrance. So sometimes it's difficult, and sometimes you are in a building that has a history or is built 100 years ago or more, so it's not always that easy, and I completely understand, but it's just something good to know. I also put a picture of glass doors and sliding doors. It's very practical. You just enter and the doors are opening, but which is something I didn't know is that the people with visual impairment, for example, can't see the difference between the opening part and the fixed parts. So they can't see the difference between doors opening. So that was also something I wanted to give with you. As I say, I'm not an expert. I'm just sharing what I have learned during the last times and years. Also, an important thing, people arrive, you have the entrance. It's important that they immediately can see, where can I ask my questions? Where do I have to go to? So we have here our desk, for example. You see someone after the desk, and people are buying tickets, I guess. But we also have a lower part. So if people in a wheelchair are coming, they can go just over there, and the desk is open, so people of the staff can come and give them some information or explain them things. There's also a screen over there, so people can have a look at what's on that day in the library. Together with the entrance, also wayfinding is an important one. In our building, it's not so easy because we have different functions. We are a library, so people are coming to study and to do research. Next to that, we have our public spaces with the KBR Museum and the exhibition rooms. We have a MICE function, so people are coming because there are conferences organized in the library. We have a restaurant, so people sometimes just come to eat and drink something. So these are all different functions, and all these people come through the same entrance and they have to find their way. What we have done, we divided the different functions in colors, so you can see that our restaurant is the green part, our lecture rooms, the library part is in orange, the conference part is in blue, and so on. And in black are the pictograms that are showing staircases, elevators, toilets, and so on. You can see also over here, this was a staircase before we have changed things, and we had a sort of elevator for wheelchairs over here. But with the rethinking of our entrance, they just put it a ramp in the style of our building. So there's no discussion anymore, and you don't see the difference anymore. You don't see that that thing, oh, there's an elevator for people with a wheelchair. They just can take the ramp, and there's no indication anymore, oh, you have to go over there if you are in a wheelchair. So I think that's a nice solution. That was a nice idea of the architects to do it like this. For our wayfinding, you can see in the picture on the left, we tried this in the building. So first it was all printed on paper, and it was hung on the walls and so on. And they did really the test with people who are not working in KBR and who were not familiar with coming to KBR. So to see if it was clear and if it was logic. That was also a good thing we have done before adding our new wayfinding. In the picture in the middle, you see also multitudes on communicational things. Our wayfinding, there's the wallpaper background here, with then over here the pictograms, which are yellow on black, which is a good thing, but they lose a bit their function because they are placed before that wallpaper wall. Over here you have a map with the different floors. Over here you have the message of the cloakroom. So it's a lot of information. It's always about, yeah, what do I want to mention and how will I do it? We had a problem during the COVID times when our facility manager came up with, oh, we have to put arrows and we have to put guidelines and we have to put a lot of information. And then we had to struggle with her. Yeah, it's not clear anymore. There's too much information. We have our wayfinding and so on. So I can imagine that it's not always that easy. Here we see again the yellow on the black, but for example, this one, and sometimes we just do things without mention it ourselves. You have the arrows and shop and exits over here, but it can be disturbing. It would have been better to put the out on the upside and the shop beneath the arrow, and then it's clear where the arrow goes to the exit or the shop. So that's
Vanessa,
about wayfinding. Yeah,
Vanessa,
thank you.
What's the time?
In the building, we made our showcases our showcases in the exhibitions open at the bottom, so you can underwrite it. So that was also an important one. Here at the table, you see that it's accessible for little ones, but over there also the adults can take place. Surroundings, when people did visit your space, they like to have a drink or to go to the shop. Also there, it's important to have an open space, for example, in the shop, not to put everything on one table so that people not are afraid to take something or to break something. In the conference room, to have the electricity, for example, in the middle of the table, and the cafe and the bar, for example, this one here is accessible at the outside, but not at the inside. So these are all little things that make it worth to do that visit with the chain of accessibility in mind. When they come back, they can rate their visit, they can talk about it, they can talk about it to friends and family, and they maybe can take a decision to come again and to visit it again because they had a good experience. And the last word on the universal design. This is also a desk. The universal design is a nice thing because the designers start with the idea we design for everyone and not for an average somebody. So they design it inclusive and functional, and it's functional and beautiful. It's flexible. It's easy to understand. It has room for mistakes, and it's a very open and flexible thing. And as a visitor, you don't have special efforts to make if something is designed as a universal design. So that was a very quick run through what I learned, and maybe some tips I can give you to, if you want to work around accessibility, what you can take away or not. Thank you.